Hey, I'm Ryan Cruz, and welcome back to Get Your Mind Right. This is a series called It's a Thin Line Between Empathy and Codependency, and we've been going through the characteristics of codependency. In the last video, I spoke about obsession, and in this video, I'm going to talk about controlling. But before I get into the video, what made me want to make a series called It's a Thin Line Between Empathy and Codependency is because there are many women that are codependent and label themselves as empaths or having a big capacity of empathy, and they're suffering, they're putting themselves in situations that's not healthy. They are in romantic relationships with people that's not healthy. They have platonic relationships, family relationships that are very codependent, yet they are using the term empathy as a way to ignore their codependency, as a way to ignore a lot of these characteristics that can be healthy but still on a borderline, can easily cross over to where it's not healthy for you, where the only person benefiting is not even sometimes the person that you're codependent with, because neither one is growing. So that's what made me do this whole series. So let's just get into the next characteristic, which is controlling. So one of the points that Melody B makes from her book Codependency No More about controlling is become afraid to let other people be who they are and allow events to happen naturally. So I am definitely someone who has been very much controlling, where I did not allow events to happen naturally. And sometimes even when I got the result that I wanted, or the end result, I would not be satisfied, for the fact is that it didn't happen the way that I want to. So I'm still like, yeah, I got that, but I was making sure that I wanted to talk about this bullet point, and I wanted to make sure I did that bullet point, yada, 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 yada. So, you know, I'm not happy about X, Y, and Z, and even though I got what I wanted still, but because I didn't have it the way that it posted went, I'm not even feeling it. And an old friend of mine's that I think of this situation with, that was in a romantic relationship with a guy, that she would actually get him more intoxicated for them to have deeper intimacy. And that also happens with guys who get women more intoxicated than themselves so they can have sex, right? And I mean, you can say that's not really allowing something to happen naturally, because someone's intoxicated. And when you do drink, um, it does lower you to say no. It makes it more easier for you to say yes, and for you not to use the word no. So at the time when my friend when she was doing that, I think I recognized it, but I didn't recognize it in a way that I'm seeing it now as I'm reading this and saying that was pretty disgusting that she did something like that. Um, I would say, like I said about myself doing something like that, I think mines have more so been, maybe I feel like mine is more so with events and doing an activity, or like I could say, like if something doesn't go right as planned for my birthday, each thing doesn't get hit. But if I still just had a great time, I would be more programmed of like, that didn't do that didn't do right, da da da. So that was something I could say I really had a problem with in the past, of not allowing events to happen naturally. Another one she has is try to control events and people through helplessness, guilt, threats, advice giving, manipulation, and domination. So when I hear this, I can tell you now, I've been a victim of someone doing that helplessness and, advice giving. So I'm going to start off first with the helplessness. I had a friend who, when she was asking or requesting what she was requesting out of me, I felt like I was being codependent towards her, because in my mind, I knew what she wanted was something that it wasn't based off of me. I couldn't have helped you really with that. Certain things in life, only thing your friends could do is listen. And what she was going through at the time, that was just something all I could do was listen. It did not really need me to be there in that type of way. But she was whining and whining and whining. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why am I going to do this? And why did I do it? I did it on the strength of, oh, I want to be a good friend. Oh, I don't want her to feel X, Y, and Z. So I go out and I go with her and do whatever we had to do. It wasn't nothing crazy or nothing like that. But afterwards, it was just, I felt so fake. I felt so fake within myself. And I'll be honest, the times that I've done stuff like that with people, that is usually the last time I see that person. Because I feel so fake and I feel so annoyed and disgusted by that person helplessness and what their helplessness was behind, that I'm just like, I can't be around that. I don't want to be around somebody like that at all. And the next one with the whole try to control people through advice giving and manipulation, that's really pretty cool, because I'm not cool in a good way, but it's different to hear because I've actually had a friend try to do that with me with advice giving. And it's just kind of like, you can really tell like this advice is silly. Like, this advice is working, but at the same time, this advice is something that's where I'm going to have to keep repeating back to this person my situation and the problem, and this is where this person is getting some type of stimulation out of giving me advice. This person needs to do this, and without them doing this, they feel helpless. They don't feel like anything. So that is not a good feeling on a receiving end, to feel that, and definitely not a good feeling to be doing that, because at the end you're creating a false sense of ego within yourself. Here's a good one. Become resentful when others decline their help or reject their advice. Now, I think I did experience this. I think I experienced the part of not decline their help but reject their advice. And I'm gonna really keep it real. My advice was right. So that's why. And I felt like the person didn't want to listen to it because they felt like, oh, I shouldn't know what the hell I was talking about. But I knew what I was talking about. And it just turned out to be, I think I was more so pissed that I had to hear the scenario again after I gave you the advice that would have worked, that you didn't have to do, that would not have led to the negative outcome. But because you were so high and mighty to want to hear you know what I mean? So now you got that negative outcome, and now I got to listen to it. So that was my own codependency trait of saying, now I got to listen to it. I don't got to listen to anything. What I got to do is this. Oh, that's what ended up happening. I remember. Oh, didn't I tell you that? Bye. That's it. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. So see how I'm able to recognize my own codependency traits of saying, I'm noticing this person is doing it, but I'm still sticking around too. That's not smart. Here's a good one. Use blame and shame to exploit others emotionally. I don't think I've done that. Yeah, I'll be honest. Certain things I'm not against shaming people on. I'm going to tell you the truth. Certain things I'm not against shaming a man on, or a woman. Maybe it's like, she keep doing the same thing over and over. So on that one, I can see how that can be in a shady way of someone like, and say for instance, a sexual relationship, your spouse, they tell you, oh, they like a certain type of thing. And then later on, you start shaming them behind it. You don't just say to them, hey, I don't want to do that. That's something that you into. I'm not going to be into that. We won't be doing that. And they just say, all right. But instead, you walk away, and then 20 minutes later, you come around the corner and you say, you say something shady towards what they told you earlier they like. So that is pretty messed up. Here's a good one. Pretend to agree with others to get what they want. I've never done that to someone else. In the codependency state, kind of like, yet I've seen someone do that to me, and I've called them out on it. And I'll say, later on, I'll say, did you really just say that just to get X, Y, and Z? And then it'll look like, oh, she caught me. When I realize someone does that, I never thought about that being a codependency trait, yet I really do. I get irritated with them, and then I no longer take them serious, man or woman. So, and then once I don't take you serious, then a relationship is pretty much over, because, yeah, I'm not going to put any effort in. So lastly, here is a good one. Freely offer advice and direction without being asked. Is that what I'm doing now? Am I giving people advice, or am I giving people information? I don't know. Is that what everyone you know, on YouTube and stuff like that, that do have commentary, or, you know, that has this type of information given out, are doing. Yeah, I do. Is I know exactly. It's one thing to give opinion, or like, you know, to be talking to someone and they tell you a situation and you give maybe insight or something, but you can honestly tell when someone is offering advice in a way that is in a control type of factor. So what I would mean is probably by telling someone else, you know, that the idea they had earlier is definitely wrong. Take this one instead. When a person didn't come up to you and say, "Hey, do you mind checking out this idea I got and give me your opinion?" But you know, you see their idea out on the floor, table, and then you pick it up, you read it. Oh, this idea is horrible. You know, da da da. You should go with this, that, and the third. It's different if they ask, and then there's one thing to have information somewhere where people could just come and not ask you, but they could still retrieve that information. So like if you have like a blog or something of that nature, and you know, you have advice or information about maybe how to make chicken, you know, and someone's on the internet searching that up. They didn't ask you specifically, but they came across your page and now they know how to do that. That's totally different than, you know, someone looking in someone's business and finding little flaws or problems and telling them, hey, this is what you need to do because what you're doing is wrong and my way is the best way. So that's when it's like you being very, 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 very disrespectful. So to finish up on the controlling characteristic and patterns of codependency, you know, these were, I could really sit up here and admit to you that I was very controlling back in the day. I could really admit to that. And this is why I made this series, for you to be able to look at codependency not so much in a way of like shame, but in a way where you could look at it and really break away and get out of that state. You know, it's not a healthy place to be for yourself or people around you. And for you to recognize when someone is being codependent towards you, to recognize when you are in situations like that, and to get out of it. Don't let someone control you with their codependency habits. Don't control other people in that type of way. And I'm really sure as you're learning these characteristics about codependency, it's going to really continue to help you become a better person for yourself first. And then it would definitely just rub off on the rest of the people, because that's how usually life works. So the next video, we're going to be talking about denial. I can't wait to get into that, because denial is something a lot of people do, and I'm sure denial and codependency, yeah, I could definitely see how that could be a characteristic for codependency. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. It's the holidays going on right now, so I just hope you're using these videos as a way to move forward, especially going into 2021. You know, we had a really tough year this year, and all we could do is just continue to grow and not use the word empath as a way to hide our codependency tendencies. Okay, I'll see you for the next video, and like I said, it'll be all about denial. Bye.